Well. This is old biologist Lan Wilf. I hope all of you remember my videos where I talked about intentional and unintentional, mostly intentional, deer escapes from enclosures. And I reached out to old Jeremy Flynn, who's a partner in the Hunter podcast, and he's big time, but he did a little work with me when he was in grad school here at Mississippi State. And so I still talk with him occasionally, not nearly enough. We both got lives of our own. But at any rate, I found a clip from the often loved, mostly envied Spook Spann on the Hunter podcast. And I cannot, for the life of me, understand why this clip did not go viral. I think it was just plain old oversight, glossing over, not thinking about the consequences by the hunting public. But this clip and this discussion lines up with some things I've been telling you. And with that, I want you to hear this clip. I want you to think about what he's saying and some of the instances he's discussing, and let's catch back up on the other side.
Obviously, and with lack of another description, quality deer management is been in effect for several years, and there's a lot of people planting food plots and passing up deer, and so there's a lot of landowners managing property, so we get all that. Obviously, that contributes. But here's something that people don't realize. A couple of things that are really big that's been going on for a long time. So we all know there's more high fence operations in North America than there's ever been. Mm-hmm. What do you think happens every time a hurricane, a tornado, a storm comes through across America happens?
Yeah. A fence goes down.
Absolutely.
A T-Rex gets out.
Yeah.
What do you think happened in 2008 when the economy crashed?
Yeah.
To guys who owned high fences.
Yeah.
And couldn't afford to feed their deer.
Yeah. Just let them out. Open the gate.
They would keep their one or two best bucks and maybe 4 or 5 of their best genetic does, and they let the rest of them go.
Yeah.
What do you think happens every single year if a guy's got 50 does and they average 2 fawns apiece? What's he do with the doe fawns?
Yeah, he don't want them. He don't want to feed them. Don't want to rear them.
Once they get up big enough, he turns them out.
Yeah.
They're not going to tell you that.
Yeah.
They either kill them or they turn them out.
Yeah.
This has been going on in a big scale for a long time.
Yep.
Why wouldn't they just kill them? I mean, if that's the, it's a farming operation, just like with cattle, or whatever.
Yeah, but they've got too much of a personal touch.
A lot of people don't, and I totally get it. They don't have the heart to.
No.
They got kids or they got a wife or this or that, and they just,
it's
not going to kill them.
It's not a slaughter facility. They're raising deer. I mean, most of those
doesn't it seem risky though? It seems less risky to just kill it.
What's
and take care of
risky about it?
The people are going to find out that you're letting deer out into the wild. That seems risky to me.
I mean, it is to a point, but I think if you look at most of these deer farmers, they're bottle raising the fawns. Okay. Hell, we had to do it in our research project. Like, there was a point there where all the female fawns, I had to put a bolt gun in the back of their head when I found them. Mm-hmm. I didn't like doing that.
Sure, of course.
But
it's all different. And you're talking about, a lot. You're talking about just small. Some of them are small mom and pop operations, and some of them are pretty, pretty big
commercial.
And most of the time, the bigger the operation, the less likely that they're letting them out.
Sure.
But
everybody has, everybody has story. And so I just personally, that I don't have anything to back this theory up other than I just know it's happening. I mean, how many times just in the last month have you seen a video of a deer running, somebody's video on a deer running down the side of the road?
It was
with
the
a
one in
tag
Ohio. Just a couple
I've
weeks ago.
seen 4 or 5 of them just in the last 3 or 4 weeks.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yep. Well, I mean, there's.
And you know that big giant Kansas buck that got killed a couple years ago?
Oh, yeah.
3 something.
3 something. Yeah.
Yeah, that deer was, he got out, he was, 50, 60 miles away.
Yeah.
And so that's just, that stuff is happening all the time.
All right, boys and girls, ladies and gentlemen, we're on the other side of this thing. And I had to try to get this information out to give y'all another chance to share it. I want y'all to think about it. I want y'all to think about some of what I've been telling you. And let's just take, since we don't have evidence, and criminal cases require evidence beyond the shadow of a doubt. And proving that deer were released into the wild intentionally is pretty tough. But when you've got a tag buck running around in the free range, I don't understand when you find these deer why you're not looking into options to get it stopped. But we had a case some years ago in Mississippi, and I want you to think about the random and diverse spread of the disease. I want you to think about where it's popping up. Sometimes it makes sense, sometimes it doesn't. It's not from states just testing deer. They're testing deer for a reason. Number one, they're trying to get ahead of it. I want you to remember this: deer farming is legal in Louisiana. Having breeding pens is legal in Mississippi, but they can't buy and sell. But there's an old boy in Louisiana, bought him some deer from a facility in PA. Most of those deer did not make it to Louisiana. They were dropped off en route. While these deer were in transit, this pen in PA got some results from some CWD testing, and they popped positive. And one of those deer that came from that breeding pen that was positive managed to be one of the ones that was dropped off. Long story short is it was a very long, very comprehensive process working through that. I don't want to discuss any details of that case. I just want you to understand that that sort of thing happens. Deer get moved around, they get dropped off, and they get moved across the country. PA to Louisiana, that's a pretty good hump. I want you to understand also that this disease is completely devastating. I've had several commenters on this channel that are in hot zones, have hunting properties in hot zones, that have cited that they're seeing significantly fewer deer years after CWD. So please don't come on here and call those people liars. You haven't walked a mile in their boots. They are there. Most of you are not, fortunately. If y'all want somebody to be irritated with for the rising of chronic wasting disease in random and diverse places, you want to say it's just state agencies looking for it. Y'all might want to consider who's saying that, where their bread is buttered. You want somebody to be angry with. I understand that you're angry with your state wildlife agency sharpshooting deer around positives. However, chronic wasting disease spread follows a pattern once it gets introduced into a new area by a walker or a drop off or a release. 1 to 2% prevalence is fairly sustainable, but you have to reduce the deer density. It's like a cancer diagnosis. You have to remove the tissue and you have to reduce the density and reduce the number of animals that come into contact with each other to slow the spread. You also can't have feed sites because they go there and they salivate and they urinate and defecate and they just spread it like venereal disease all over the place. If you go where the positives are and you remove deer and you cease and desist on all supplemental feeding and you work really hard to keep that density low, even though your hunting's going to suck, because life sucks after cancer too. You do that, you can have a huntable population with only 1 or 2 deer out of 100 having the disease. If you sit there and you do nothing, it increases to 5% prevalence. At 5% prevalence, it's spreading exponentially at that point, and you're beginning to see older bucks die. At 10% prevalence, the soil and the water are contaminated. You're having a significant mortality on bucks within a couple of years, and you're beginning to see no 4 and 5-year-old bucks or fewer in the standing crop. 20% prevalence, your older buck age structure is basically gone. You got 2s and a few 3s to hunt. Does are beginning to die, and it will be 60% prevalence within 7 to 10 years. 60 out of 100 will have it. So what would you rather have? Would you rather have a few deer that you can hunt and 98, 99 out of 100 are healthy and you can eat? Or would you rather just sit there and complain and have 6 out of 10 have it and you don't need to eat them? Bad idea. But if you're looking for somebody to be mad at, and you're mad about state agencies sharpshooting and removing deer to slow the spread, and that's a lousy answer, but it is what it is, and that's all we got right now, you might ought to look at the captive deer industry, because there's the talking heads poo-pooing the disease. So I want you to think about the random and diverse spread of where the disease has popped up, where it continues to pop up. Think about the most practical way it got there. Did it get there at 70 miles an hour in a truck and a trailer? Or did a deer just walk in from 200, 300 miles away? Yeah, they cover some ground. They can cover 60 to 120 miles, especially when they start turning clinical and forget what they're supposed to do, where they're supposed to live. Or did some jackleg haul them in a vehicle to make them $1 or $2? Sell them to somebody. Keep that market alive, boy. So on the Spook Spann clip, we can remove the malicious movement of deer to releases into the free range that were bought and sold, and we can just remove the put and takes, those releases, put them over here, because evidence is thin. But you know what happens? It's just hard to prove. So you've got accidental releases from storms, from fences going down. Some of those deer have been moved around and bought and sold, and some of them have the disease and they get out. You have these big old bucks getting out, and folks are killing them with tags in their ears. They just take off walking. They have no home range. All they do is walk around and eat. Some of them just hop from feeder to feeder. So that is a threat to the deer on your property, the deer that belong to all of us. It has been allowed because of political contacts and money talks. So I would ask that, what do you think is the most logical reason why this disease has moved? Do you think it's walkers from hot spots moving hundreds of miles? Yes, they cover a lot of ground, but hundreds of miles. Or is it more plausible that they moved in a truck and trailer? What's more plausible? If it is plausible in your mind that they moved in a truck and trailer, what can you do about it? Do you need to start putting pressure on elected officials to look into this? Do you need to start talking to your state conservation agencies? Do you need to start talking to departments of agriculture that manage these programs? Do you need to be looking at CWD testing records for these facilities, asking for those in your state? Do you need to be asking for breeding pen inventories? What if these releases were the reason why deer herds were destroyed? And are there any civil liabilities involved? Something to consider. The captive industry has been doing this for decades. They've been buying and selling and moving. And obviously in a previous video I discussed the direct conflict. So y'all be the judge. I'll fill what comments I can, but I would ask you to please spread this far and wide. Please help this Spook Spann video, this clip, go viral indeed. And with that, y'all have a good weekend. Hey, we got a blizzard coming in. You don't get many of those ice storms in North Mississippi, but they happen. And looks like everybody's buying milk and bread at the stove. So y'all make you some milk sandwiches. Have a good one.